Clay. Welcome to another League of Legends video. This time we're doing a Y-buy on Leona. She is the Radiant Dawn. Definitely one of the stronger supports right now, and overall a very fun and powerful champion to pick up if you have not already. But she is a pretty cool champ. Definitely a CC machine. Probably one of the iconic tanks when it comes to bot lane. Somebody who can really get on top of you, has a ton of sticking power. It's very difficult to get away. She has tremendous lockdown, and has just become a real lane boy. I can hardly think of any other champion that has benefited more from the support changes this season with some of the support itemization and just supports getting more gold in general. I can hardly think of any other champion that has benefited from these changes more than Leona, because now that she has a little bit of extra gold, she can build a little bit of tankiness and just be a real pest. Before, in the past, if you did really well early and got snowballing, then oftentimes you can get those tank items going. But if you didn't, then oftentimes you're really worthless because you would dive in and then just get blown up. But now that you've got the gold to get the items that you need, she has become extremely powerful and is really one of the best supports in the meta right now. So anyways, let's go ahead and look at her skills and abilities and try to figure out why she's so strong and what's the deal with her. So this game, I'm playing with Lucian. This is a ranked match, and we're playing against a Jinx Sona. So very much a poke lane, whereas Lucian and I are very much an all-in lane. So very contrasting styles, and I would even go so far to say that the lane is in our favor, just because Leona is so good against Sona. If I can get on top of her, she's so squishy that I can probably blow her up. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about Leona's skills and abilities and highlight the gameplay as we go. There, I finally hit level 2, and I'm looking to be aggressive. Going to jump onto Leona. I actually used everything I can on her, including my Ignite, and so we're just kind of skirmishing it out right here. I don't think actually anybody is going to go down, but we ended up getting both of them very low, and Lucian got kind of low, but oh, I actually missed my E right there. I wanted to go super ham. I think we could have picked up that Sona. But anyways, let's talk about Leona's abilities. First up, her passive, Sunlight. Whenever Leona deals spell damage to them with one of her spells, they will be afflicted with Sunlight, and then any allied champion who attacks them will consume the Sunlight and deal additional magic damage. Now, this is a really cool part of Leona's kit, and it's what makes her so strong. Leona doesn't really bring a ton of damage on her own, but her Sunlight is a really core part of why she's such a good support. That she can allow your allies to deal additional damage just because she gets on top of them. And overall, it's just really important to try to, just get your Sunlight on the targets that you want to go all in on. And if you're playing with a Leona, you really want to try and proc that Sunlight whenever you possibly can. So next will be her Q, Shield of Daybreak. Leona's next basic attack will deal extra damage and stun the enemy for 1.25 seconds. The stun is really the core part of this ability. So, basically this is an auto-attack reset, so when you go in with your E, you're going to want to auto-attack them and then immediately hit Q to reset your auto-attack timer, and then get the stun going. Just a very core part of Leona's kit. Her EQ combo is really, kind of her core engage and lockdown combination, and this is one of her main CC abilities. I tend to actually max this last, because it's mostly just, the base damage only goes up by 30 per level, starts at 40 up to 160, so not a tremendous amount of damage on its own. The cooldown does get reduced as well, but I feel like I would rather have more Zenith Blades where I can actually dive in than more Shields of Daybreak, because, if you're not on top of somebody, this ability is kind of useless because it is an auto-attack replacement. Next would be Leona's W, Eclipse. This is really the core part of her kit. So basically, when you press your W, she will gain bonus armor and magic resist for 3 seconds, and then when this ends, any enemies that are close to her will be dealt damage. They're actually activated right there. You can see the sunlight around me, and then the explosion right there. It's going to deal damage to any enemies that are close by. And so a really nice ability overall, and this is really what makes Leona such a incredibly powerful tank. At maximum rank, we're talking about getting upwards of 65 bonus armor and magic resist, and this also scales with your bonus armor and bonus magic resist, so this makes her incredibly tanky. Having an extra 65 armor and MR for those 3 seconds is really crucial. And then the damage on this is not slacking as well, 260 base damage. This is definitely the core part of her kit. And like I said, the armor and MMR is so crucial. And if you ever hear someone talking about Leona buying a lot of health, because she scales so well with health, this is why. It's because her her Eclipse gives her so much armor and MR. And so basically, if you have, let's say you have 100 health and 10 armor, 10 magic resist, the best way to get that 10 armor and 10 magic resist to go a really long ways is to buy more health. Because every bit of armor and magic resist that you get is applied to each point of health that you have. So your effective HP is greater. And then if you just buy more health, then every single point of health you pick up is getting amplified by the armor and MR that you already have. So it stacks multiplicatively rather than just additionally. So I guess kind of a nerdy way of explaining that. Now it looks like I am going to go in onto this Sona. I do ignite her, and oh, she's getting so low, but I think I'm going to have to back off. She is incredibly low. I'm going quite low as well, but a good little trade right there. Almost got the Sona when we went all in. W is definitely the ability that you want to max first, and take advantage of this whenever you can. Pretty much anytime you're going to go aggressive with your EQ combo, you want to pop your W as well, just because, you know, when you're going in, you're going to want the extra tankiness, but then you're also going to want to get the Eclipse Explosion to get the damage and to proc Sunlight on all of your opponents. So overall, really, really core part of her kit, and it makes her super tanky. Next up would be her E, Zenith Blade. This is a lined skill shot. Leona will deal damage to every enemy in between in the line. And then the last opponent that is in the line, Leona will dash to them, and they will be briefly rooted. So this is Leona's core gap closing ability. You know, this is the one that you use when you want to go in, when you want to go ham. You're probably going to want to pop your W first, then activate your E at your target, and then, you know, when you get to them, you'll get the brief root, and then you're going to want to auto attack them, and then use your Q for the additional stun. That's kind of her core combo. But they're actually using my Zenith Blade right there to get on top of this Sona. Wasn't really hoping to pick up the kill right there, just more hoping to. You can see how one-sided that trade was. If you look at the comparative HP between me and Sona and Lucian. Now Sona does have a lot more sustain than I do. I have no way of actually helping Lucian regain some of his health, but that's okay. You know, we definitely came out ahead there on that trade. So that's her Zenith Blade, definitely her core, another core part of her kit. Like I said, I like to max this second, because it just does a couple of things for you. It mostly just helps you gap close and get on top of your opponents, which is really something you want to do. There, I actually using my Zenith Blade to get on top of this Jinx, and trying to just kind of run interference here and help this Nidalee, although I don't think we're going to have any success with this kind of gank from her, unfortunately, so we're just going to back off. Last up will be Solar Flare. This is Leona's ultimate. This is a fairly long range targeting where you target the ground in an AoE skill shot, and it kind of has a interesting mechanic. Like I refer to it as a bullseye mechanic, similar to Aatrox or maybe Ziggs. They also have similar things where the very center of the circle does an additional effect. So it deals damage, then every enemy is going to be slowed by 80%, but then enemies in the center are actually stunned for 1.5 seconds instead of slowed. So definitely, again, a core part of Leona's lockdown. You know, and again, her full combo of an E, pop your W, go in with your E, use your auto attack, then hit a Q, and then throw down your ultimate as well during the stun of your Q. You can keep somebody locked down for almost 3 full seconds on your own. And again, just makes her so hard to deal with, just because of her lockdown is pretty crazy. But this is really, you know, once she hits level 6, Leona is extremely scary to lane against. You know, this Sona Jinx lane is really going to turn around. Right now we're at 0-0, but things are really going to turn. I actually totally missed right there. And I wonder if Sona actually disconnected, but there's a use of my ultimate, and we do pick up the kill. I don't know what Sona was doing, but I actually anticipated she would try to dodge my E, but she just stood there. And so I missed it, so I just walked up to her and started slapping her around, and we picked up the kill. But now, like I said, now that I have my ultimate, this lane is really going to take off in terms of a power spike. Leona is really, really strong at level 2, but then she's also extremely strong at level 6. Her ultimate is just so good in terms of providing lockdown. They're going to land my EQ and my W, going to pop right there. Deal some nice damage. You can see Jinx is glowing with the sunlight proc. Not anymore, but for a brief moment there. Didn't have my ult up again to continue the lockdown, but again, just pushing her out, doing some really nice stuff. So those are Leona's abilities. Definitely is a crowd control monster. She technically has a root on her E. She's got a stun on her Q. and on her ultimate, and then she's got the sunlight in her W for the damage. She just does a lot of really nice things for your team. You know, definitely one of the best champions in terms of lockdown, you know, getting onto a backline target and really wrecking their day. Just extremely scary to lane against. I would say that a good Leona can absolutely carry the bottom lane. And I would say from here on out, I really start to assert dominance and help my Lucian get super fed. You can see he's already up a BF sword on Jinx. I'm sure that she's probably sitting on a bunch of gold. Yeah, it looks like she's got 1,600 gold, but she hasn't bought yet. But there I actually go in, and let's see, there's the ultimate right there onto Jinx. And I'd see if Lucian can, he actually flashes in, gonna go ahead and throw down a ward and help him pick up that kill. Now I'm gonna try to peel off the Amumu off, and it looks like Wukong is coming in. He's gonna ult, and I'm gonna, unfortunately Lucian falls, but now just trying to go onto Amumu, and gonna get my W off and help pick up the kill on Sona, and then flash out with a sliver of health. But you can see right there the initiation. Let's actually watch this initiation one more time. This is a really long, drawn-out fight with a lot of people coming to help us out. But this initiation was really core. You can see just how... Oh, actually, Daniel back out. You can just see just how difficult it is for somebody like Jinx, who's a relatively immobile carry, to deal with somebody like Leona. But there I hit the E. Gonna throw down my W. Gonna land the Q right, and then also she's gonna flash away. I get Sona crescendoed. But there, Jinx makes the mistake of turning back around. Now I'm going to use my ultimate, perfectly hitting Jinx right in the center. And Lucian's going to try to come follow up. Nice Q right there. And Jinx is going to fall. So a really nice initiation of that fight. So the Mummy comes in, but it's okay because Wukong is here as well. And so I think we end up going 3 for 2. No, 2 for 1, I believe. Yeah, because we get the kill onto Sona. Good job by Wukong. And I make it out alive. So 2 for 1, so a good trade overall. And again, my initiation really helped set up those kills very nicely. And you really want to, when you're playing Leona, you really want to try and have a lot of presence. You know, just the fear of going all in on Leona is oftentimes enough to win the lane in and of itself, just because people will give Leona a lot of respect, which she rightly deserves, because she's very, very scary to lane against. That's one of her greatest attributes, is her laning is very, very powerful. But then she transitions very, very well into a tank during team fights, especially with the additional gold. You can get, you know, maybe a Sunfire Cape and a Sightstone. It's going to give you a lot of health and armor. It's going to help you stay in those fights for a really long time and just be a real beast to deal with. But, you know, Leona is, in playing a tank like this, it's all about getting the right initiation. It's all about getting your team in a position to do really well. They're going to actually throw down my combo onto Jinx, and there I'm landing my ultimate again. And gonna allow Lucian to pick up this kill, and we just absolutely crushed this fight. Now tanking the tower for Nidalee to pick up the kill on Sona, and we'll walk away just fine because I'm really tanky. But again, you can see, pretty much ever since we've hit level 6, every time that my opponents come into lane, Lucian and I are able to pick up kills on them, because Leona is so frightening. Lucian got an early BF sword, thankfully, which was really great from an early kill. But since then, you know, my lockdown has just given Jinx such troubles. Jinx and Sona have a really hard time dealing with Leona just because she can get on top of them. And if anytime you can get on top of a Jinx or a Sona, they're going to be in a pretty rough spot. So a really, really good place for us to be in. If you can see, their bot lane pairing is 0-2-1, 0-3-1. So they're just having a really rough time compared to my Lucian, who is 3-1-1. I'm 0-0-4. So we're just in a much, much stronger position. Now I'm just zoning them out. You know, they have a ward in this brush, I'm sure, but, you know, just the threat of me jumping on top of them has to be enough to keep them far back. And I'm sure Lucian is sitting on quite a bit of gold as well, so next time we shop and come back, our all-in is going to be even stronger. But as I was saying, you know, when you're playing a CC tank like this, like Leona, it's all about getting the proper initiations. It's all about finding the right fights. There, again, jumping in onto Sona with my EQ. And let's watch this combo one more time. Lucian, I believe he was actually baiting that he wanted to go back. So they didn't actually have vision of him, but he said, hey, I want to fight this. So there he goes in onto Sona. There's a perfect EQ throwing down on my W. Now when she lands, going to throw it on my ultimate just to make sure she can't get away. Going to pick up that kill perfectly. And if you'll notice, I actually lead the ultimate slightly, because I feel like even if they're catching the slow on the near side, that's okay because, you know, if they do something tricky like try to flash away, they're still going to catch it on the far end. So I always try to lead my ultimate a little bit. But again, you know, like I said before, every single time that our opponents come back to lane, they're in a world of hurt, and they're pretty much just have been dying over and over again every time they're coming back to lane. I have a level advantage on Sona. You know, we are just in a much more powerful, strong position compared to our lane opponents. And if you look at my itemization, I have become really tanky. I've got I believe the Targon's Embrace, I've got a Sightstone, and I've got a Giant's Belt along with my Dorn Shield. So very, very tanky right now. Pushing, you know, 2200 health at level 10 is really, really good. Compare that to Sona, who literally has half the HP that I do, in a really, really strong spot. But again, you know, Leona is all about engaging, knowing when to pick fights, and again, she is so good once she gets ahead and gets some tank items going. She is extremely powerful. You know, and really the real, you know, especially once you move into this part of the game, it's all about landing those money Leona ultimates is really what this is all about. You can use it to engage, you can use it to disengage. Now, at this point, the fight had never really happened, and actually that was a pretty poor ultimate right there. I didn't actually get anybody, and it looks like a lot of people are coming down to fight, and Nidalee actually ends up falling. Now moving on to the Sona and the Amumu. A good flash ultimate there from Wukong is going to get 2 kills, and now I do end up falling, but hopefully, you know, Wukong can pick up that kill, and it looks like Lucian might be able to get away. This is quite a little battle here. Oh, the Kale ultimate's going to keep her alive. But now it looks like with Wukong coming back and they want to re-engage on this, they need to keep vision. Oh, a very nice dodge. Oh, but she did pick up the kill. And can Lucian get this off? Oh, it looks like they actually trade kills. I remember that was pretty hilarious. They absolutely traded their lives right there with an auto attack in exchange for a Q. But a good fight, and actually that guaranteed would have gone much, much better had I landed a money ultimate. My ultimate was quite off the mark, and I didn't really get anybody. I had meant to lock down Jinx and hoping that Wukong could follow up, but I just missed. And it really did, you know, change the dynamic of the fight for my team. They were not in a very good position to follow up. But again, you know, I actually missed my E right there, but there is a money Leona ultimate onto the Sona, and now just going to help Nidalee try to pick up this kill. There she goes, and now going to help try to peel Amumu off of Nidalee, give her some space to get away. So overall, another good pickup right there. Again, the Sona has just absolutely been dying every single time she comes back to lane. Now trying to body block, try to keep this, yep, there we go, eating the Amumu bandage toss for my team, and going to get out just fine. So another good engagement, picks up another kill, and leaves us in a very strong position. So anyways, you know, and this game is still really close, and it's like I said before, it's all about finding the money initiations. There Wukong goes in. I'm going in onto Amumu to try to make him blow his ultimate. Now moving on to Kale because she's the big damage threat. We don't actually pick up Kale, but Darius is here. I believe he, I don't actually know how he got in, but he is here. He must have teleported. Yeah, he must have teleported in onto the ward I had placed. And there we do end up picking up that kill. So I think we got 3 for 1, so a very good fight right there for us, and that's going to give us a pretty much free dragon without any concerns and leave us, again, in a very strong position. You know, this game got off to a bit of a rough start for my team. I know that the Jax got a lot of early kills. He was, you know, 5-0 at one point, I believe, now at 5-2. And then I know that, you know, it's a little bit deceptive. The bot lane CS is a little deceptive because I have the Targons are now the face of the mountain. So actually, you probably should add 30 CS to Lucian, putting him at about 150. So he actually is quite ahead of Jinx in terms of gold. If we actually compare the gold, yeah, he's definitely far ahead, but it's a little deceptive because he actually has less CS. But that's, you know, just the nature of this item that I have. I'm going to take creeps, but and also Kale was bowling down Nidalee quite a bit, but we actually have really did a nice gold swing right there, putting us ahead about 1,000 gold. Has left us in a very strong position, and now again, it's all about finding those good initiations. You have to, one of the biggest things when you play a tanks like this is you have to know when to fight, you have to know when to engage, you have to know how to, you know, lock down the high priority targets. And every game is different. It's one of those things that just comes with game experience. Playing the role of a tank, you can absolutely carry a game. Leona is one of the best supports to carry a game on. And I would say that as this game continues, that is really, I really did step up in terms of, leading the team, making calls through my initiations, and really, establishing control over this game. We've got a pretty solid team fight with Wukong and Darius and myself. We've got a lot of really good lockdown potential. Between Wukong's ult and my ultimate and Darius with his pull, we've got a lot of good engaged crowd control. And then with Nidalee and Lucian kind of poking and darting around in the back, being really mobile, that's kind of our game plan there. But if you look at their team, they've got a lot of high-profile targets. They've got a Fed Jax, they've got a Jinx and a Kayle, all of who have really, really good damage. So we have to be very careful about these team fights. And they also have a Mumu and Sona, so they've got a very high potential for AoE lockdown as well. So like I said, we have to be very careful about what fights we pick, what fights we choose to back away from, and who we choose to engage on, because it's really going to be important for me as the tank and the initiators to act properly. And here I find this Jax, we catch him out, and actually, unfortunately, my ultimate doesn't catch Jax, but it catches Kayle, and now their whole team is pretty much here. I'm just going to try to soak up as much damage as I can and kind of disengage out of this fight. And this has not been a very good fight for us. Neither of our carries are in this fight, so it's practically a 5v3 right there. So again, a bad fight. And if you'll notice, if you remember, it was again all about me initiating, and that time it wasn't such a good initiation. We didn't have enough vision to make an educated decision about when to go in, and it just left us in a bad spot. But thankfully, we actually get a nice pick there from the Nidalee, and now I'm moving on to the Amumu. Going to try and just give my AD carry enough vision and crowd control to lock him down. If I can get one more E, there it is right there. Going to stun him with the Q right there. And going to throw down the W, and he is going to ult me, but thankfully, I believe, there's the nice Nidalee Spear, and I am going to make it out alive with an extremely low amount of health. But very nice job. Another really good Nidalee Spear. She landed some really nice spears during this last fight, and we really have started to swing our gold lead in our favor, up to 2k gold lead now. It's going to leave us in a very strong position. But anyways, let's talk a little bit about itemization on Leona. On Leona, you really want to prioritize tankiness. Between the two support items, I really like the Face of the Mountain route. I think it just makes a lot of sense with her. This completed item is perfect. It gives her health, CDR, and then the shield is also really useful as well. You can shield somebody who kind of gets picked off or who needs protection. It's just a very strong item on her overall. And also, I feel like it gives you a lot of gold generation if you can use the passive component very, very actively in lane. Taking those last hits and sharing the gold with your AD carry. If you can do that very frequently, you're going to be in a really, really strong position. But then after that, I really would prioritize health. An early Giant spell can go a really long ways. I turned it into a Sunfire Cape. And here, check this out right here. Dashing onto their carries, Wukong and I get a perfect two-man ultimate onto both Kayle and Jinx. Jinx gets absolutely popped. Now moving on to Kayle, again, choosing their highest priority targets, moving to the lowest priority. And I deemed that Jinx and Kayle were really the threats here. A pretty nice ultimate right there, but we're going to definitely clean that up. Again, a really, really good team fight that, again, I initiated upon, leaving my team in a really, really good position to clean up that fight. When you have the vision power like we did, we force them to face check, and it just leaves us in a really, really good position. Now it looks like Jax wants to fight, so I'm going to just try to toy him around a little bit, wasting his counter-strike and then going in. I'm going to ignite him, going to hit him with my Q, going to use my W, and he is going to fall as well. So again, we've really started to take control of this game here with these last couple of team fights, and definitely my initiations, my ultimates, and getting into their backline, choosing to get the high priority targets and locking them down has been absolutely crucial. That last time, going on to Jinx, hitting her with my full combo EQ ultimate, just a very, very easy cleanup for my team. But anyways, a quick note about itemization. Leona is just so good with tank stats. So Sunfire Cape, Randuin's, even a Spirit Visage, Ninja Tabby or Merc Treads, those are all the items that you really, really want. You're definitely going to want to start out with some sort of support item. You can also start with the Doran's Shield, which is what I did this game. If you're going to be fighting a lot, Doran's Shield is definitely better than any of the gold per 10 items. Doran's Shield is an amazing item for fighting. Early on in the game, it gives you a ton of really, really strong combat stats that aren't wasted in passive gold per 10. So if you're going to be fighting a lot, definitely consider starting with the Doran's Shield and then moving to the gold per 10 item later. I really like going the Face of the Mountain route, but you can also go with the Talisman of Ascension. That's also a very, very strong choice. The Talisman is really, really good for teams that rely on mobility. So if you've got a champion like, I don't know, maybe a Nasus or an Udyr, or somebody who is very reliant on just running at somebody, maybe an Olaf, so a champion that is dependent on just running at your carries, it doesn't have any sort of gap close, that's going to make a really good situation for your team. But again, a nice ultimate right there onto Jinx is going to help. Again, we're just wiping the floor with these kills. Getting my team in a really good spot. But so yeah, those items are really going to what you're going to start with. Either a Doran's Shield or the gold per 10. You can go for the Face of the Mountain route, or you can go for the Talisman of Ascension. It's just kind of personal preference for what your playstyle is. But then from there, tank items. Get an early Sightstone for the health. Get a Sense. Sunfire Cape can be really, really good. Randuin's Spirit Visage. You want to be the tank. You want to be the person who is making the calls for your team, who is initiating the fights, who's locking down the squishy carries. Every single time we got into a fight, my goal was try to hit my ultimate on Jinx, or Kale. That was definitely my goal, and I really think that I accomplished it this game. I ended up going 2-1-20. Out of our 31 kills, I participated in 20. Next closest assist was Wukong at 12. So really, getting my hand in every single part of the fight, taking a hand in locking down their carries, and just making it really difficult. If you look at their bot lane, 1-6-4, 1-9-3, compared to 9-3-9, 2-1-20. We really, really took control of the mid game. Once we hit level 6, the lane was pretty much over. Lucian and I had kill potential every single time we wanted to go in. And again, this game, I think it shows two things. Number one, Leona is really, really strong right now. Her ability to initiate fights, her ability to be very, very strong in lane is really, really good. And also, when you're playing support like this, you can carry. Without a doubt, you are capable of carrying the game and just being a real force to be reckoned with. And it's just a really fun playstyle. So if you guys haven't given Leona a shot, if you don't really play support that much, give her a try. It is so much fun to play. You are definitely the shot caller, the leader, the person who initiates the fights, who locks down the carries, and just really enables your teammates to get easy kills. The kills are so easy when you can lock down a target for almost 4 whole seconds by yourself with accurate play. She's good at all levels of play. She's strong and just about anywhere, and just a really fun champ overall. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on Leona down below. If there's any other champions you'd like to see why buy on, first check my channel, do a search, and I believe I have a playlist as well you can check out. But if not, leave a comment down below for somebody you'd like to see, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.